Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. What's up, guys? You can't call me on time when I'm 2 minutes late, but I'm getting better. Working on it. Again, my nights are settling down a little bit. Things are smoothing out. We're getting all of our stupid changes under control. I'm not going to sit and blab on about it forever. It doesn't matter. Like I said, I talk to you guys because I talk through like things that are on my mind. That's how I do everything in life. And sometimes that kind of rubs people the wrong way because if you're talking through a problem, you'll like say something as you're thinking through it. And they're like, oh, that's your opinion. You're like, whoa, shit. No, like not really. I'm just talking through a problem like out loud. Cause that's how I work through it. So that's a lot of times why I will talk about, oh, I was so late, whatever. But long story short, things have been settling down. It's all good. I know it doesn't ultimately matter to you guys. I know you care, like some of you care, and the rest of you are like, get killed, you idiot. But that's fine too. I know you care in that sense, but it doesn't matter why the show isn't running on time. If it's not running on time, that affects you guys no matter the reason. So am trying to get that all locked down. Things are finally settling down in that department. But again, tonight is not about what the fucking arm. I'm going to kill this microphone. Hi. Tonight is not about the logistics of the show. Tonight is about Governor Abbott and other conservative states, of course, saying fuck you to Joe Biden on Title IX changes that are coming in. They're not coming as often, apparently, in August. I think August 1st is when the Title IX changes are supposed to go into effect. And the conservative governors being led by the tank, Greg Abbott from the front, are saying, no, we're not going to do this. You can't fuck with our state laws. You don't have the power. You don't have the authority, all of that stuff. So that's going on. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the proposed Title IX changes a little bit and what is happening with that. Because obviously, Title IX is a pox upon the concepts that undergird our legal system. And our legal system is not perfect. It's not even great, but it's better than goddamn near any other one I know of. And it affords you many protections that none of the others do. Title IX is much more European, which means it's gay with a side of an accent. And we need to not have that sort of system when it comes to life-altering decisions. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that. So I'd like to kind of talk about why this stuff matters, why the old adage of, well, if it's not the government, you don't have a right or whatever, like why that doesn't apply in the same way anymore. Why all of that is much more relevant and impactful today, and why the Constitution and its principles matter so much more to us to uphold rather than us to just see as a shield against government intrusion. Because it's not that. It never was. It's just that's the only enforceable function of it. But how our government has metastasized like a cancer through the body of mass media and the American social political zeitgeist, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, how that has happened has changed the game from 1791, and we need to accordingly adjust our mindsets. And eventually we may have to amend the Constitution in kind to deal with that. But we'll talk about that as we talk about Title IX and how it is an affront to things like due process. So we're going to do that. And then there's something that's also going on. St. Benitez, the hilarious judge out in California, has issued another ruling, which actually goes against a ruling he made in 2021 in the wake of Bruen, which was decided in 2023 or 2022, something like that. But after his previous decision, and it's something I often, I know conceptually, and I understand from a legal perspective, but I don't think about it usually because it's not usually the topic of a news story. Guns pervade Second Amendment discussions. And we need to occasionally be that there's a bunch of other arms that are out there that are not guns. And those have often legal restrictions like switchblades, butterfly knives, billy clubs, things like that are restricted in some places. Brass knuckles, these are different type of arms that can be used and are banned or restricted or otherwise illegal in various states. And those restrictions may not comport with the ruling in Bruen. So that's a pretty fucking interesting sort of concept. I was I saw an article about it and I was like, oh yeah, this, but I'm not usually out shopping for non-projectile weapons that have been restricted in any particular way. Cause I just don't I'm not a collector of things that shoot or that chop or stab or whatever people. I have a couple knives. I have a bayonet that I thought was cool from an estate sale. I have a hammer and an axe and stuff like that, but they're fun and decorative. When you get into the more abstract and therefore restricted weapons, I guess we'll just call them, sure, weapons. Again, like switchblade knives and stuff like that, various states have restricted these for the purposes of their concealability. They're used by particular demographics or in particular crimes. And so those things have remained restricted and usually unchallenged for a long time. Most people aren't making a principled stand on switchblade knives. They're just okay, I guess they're illegal. Then I'll just get a different knife. It's not that big of a deal. And so they don't, there's not a lot of challenge to it, but there have been some recent ones and Bruen has changed the game on that. There's some other stuff to cover as well. We never really got to, which is entirely my fault. And by my fault, I mean yours. We never really got around to the oral arguments for Donald Trump's immunity. So I do have that queued up as well. We may get that started. Or I think if we did start, we were, 6 minutes in? I don't think that was us. I think that was me previewing that thing. But anyway, we've got all of that. Hold on 1 second. One little racklet to deal with. This is a very quick thing. Okay, there we go. Sorry. It's bedtime. Well, bedtime's a little bit ago, but sometimes one of the younger ones comes out and is like, "Oh, Dad, I need something." So it's cute. It gets old even when they don't. No, I'm just kidding. But no, so just helping out there. All good though. So that's fun. A couple things. The 1 hour, the Rumble flip thing will be happening tonight, but there will not be as long of a break. It'll be considerably shorter tonight, so that's all good. Again, told you guys it's not really my intention to spend 15 minutes at that time. So that's there. And was there anything else? Oh, I know the Karen Reed trial started today. I'm still not in a place to cover all day trials, but that is coming closer and closer and harder. So that's fun. But I can't start the Karen Reed trial now. Depending on how long it goes, I may be able to pop in a day or two, or even pick up coverage. I would like to talk to Turtle Boy about it. I believe that's Aiden Kearney. I believe he's out of jail. So we'll have to talk to him. Remember, he was arrested basically for his journalism on the case, and it's a bunch of bullshit. So there's that's going on. I do plan to have Joe on the show or to pop on his show sometime very soon. Joe he has got his own filing in court, his motion to ungag Donald Trump. And Trump's like, but I like it. I like being gagged a little bit. I like gagging sometimes. But depending on who's doing the gagging, right, Stormy? Anyway, Joe's trying to ungag Trump. So I'd like to have him on and talk about that. He's very busy right now, so I'm not sure on scheduling when we can get that hooked up. Other than that, I need to talk to Danny on direct, either on her show or on mine sometime soon. And I really want to get lead attorney on. And I was talking to Drex the other day, and he mentioned that he'd be interested in coming out and visiting sometime soon as well, as soon as we can sync up our period schedules and have a free bleed tent and do a show from there. So that's kind of all kind of coming together, and coming together is best. And so that's kind of what I'm working on getting scheduled and locked down for the show. Jean de Villette says, fuck you, Nick. Nick hates Trump so much. Why would you think? I think he's hilarious. He was talking about gagging Stormy Daniels with his wiener. Like, that was the joke. Can you go over the Tiffany Henyard case? Who the fuck is Tiffany Henyard? That's a no right now, but let me Google that. Tiffany Henyard. I might know. Oh, mayor of Dalton, Illinois. Oh, this is that weird chick who she runs the town. I've heard about her, and I saw a blurb about her the other day. I'll look into it. America's worst mayor, Tiffany Henyard, dropped by law firm. Ooh. They should have dropped her like at a Jenny Craig or whatever. Actually, she's not super fat, I guess. She's black lady skinny. Anyway, she only has type 4 diabetes. That's when you get type 2 twice. Wait, type 2 is a genetic one. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's true. It's also with sickle cell. Okay, let's hit these super chats, and then we'll jump into the Title IX talk with Governor Abbott. Not talking with Governor Abbott. I would not do that. I don't want to stoop down to his level. But we'll talk about what he is doing, what he is saying, and what Texas is positioning itself to do. Also, again, other conservative states are doing the same. But yeah, and if you guys have other, other topics, other thoughts you think of, you can go ahead and throw them in chats or whatever. You don't have to do them through super chats. It just depends on what I see, what I want to talk about, what I can talk about, not legally, like just me not being that retarded. Oh, there is something I might pull up. I saw earlier today. John Roberts was talking about the importance of oral at the Supreme Court. He was talking about how important the law clerks are because oral really matters, and picking the right law clerk really helps you prepare for oral. It helps you really endure the oral, because some of these, the oral at the Supreme Court can sometimes take multiple hours, and you have to really steel yourself and make sure you're ready for it. So John Roberts is talking about the importance of oral at the Supreme Court, kind of in the wake of these major cases that are going on. So J-Rock says, Nick, why aren't you doing live trial coverage anymore? It was what made you. No, what made me was a sperm and an egg that got together, and by some cruel twist of fate for you guys, I implanted in the side of my mother's uterus and grew into a person. And I was not aborted because my parents aren't filthy, disgusting, baby-hating liberals. And so, they actually had me. That's what made me. No, live trial coverage is literally a product of my inability at the moment due to some major changes that happened in our family logistics that made me not able to be home enough to do trial coverage. The plan was actually to start doing trial coverage in February, and then right in the middle of February, we got some major changes to our ability to have me home all the time, and that means that I haven't been able to do that. Wrangling that back down in the end of the school year is going to be a big part of that. So it's mostly just push back, but I want to get back to it because I enjoy it. It's fun commentary that I get to do with my friends. So that's always fun. There are some fire cases. Yes, I know. Believe me, I'm watching the cases that are going, fuck, I wish I was covering that. Fuck, I wish I was covering that. It's kind of like when you look at ice cream and you only have a tiny bit of magic show and you're like, fuck, I wish I was covering that. Look at those humps of vanilla. I'm going to glaze that with chocolate that hardens up. Got weird. All right, let me hit these chats and then we'll get again into that topic. Kyler says, can you tell the one about the cop at Denny's again? That wasn't a joke. Have you ever taken a cop to Denny's, Kyler? Have you? Be honest. Grifty, no. Grifty says, Nick, you seen the new Afro Man music video, Hunter Got High? Maybe save for Rumble. I've not. I heard he made one, and I like Afro Man. Like, not in any principled manner. I just like the fact that he got really pissed off at the cops who raided his house. That's literally all of it. I don't care about his, like, then I got hot. Like, that's funny, but I didn't care. You just read Trump articles all day and jerk it? No, it's the opposite order. God, yeah, jerk it. And then when I'm done, I read the Trump articles to like calm myself down. Zachary Keith Hasbrook says, do Supreme Court justices know their Denny's orders? They actually do. That's a weird one. They do that. They just, again, when they get their law clerks, the fresh out of law school ones, and it's never a non-traditional student, right? Like they're not hiring a 40-year-old law clerk. When they get that young, fresh law clerk, like that 24-year-old guy who's never done anything in his life, and they make him shave his back so they can eat the moons over my hammy off of his bare, naked, white back. They're always white. John Jelaine says, what will it take to unball gag Trump? I don't really know, because the Supreme Court, well, the courts in general have been hesitant to ungag Trump. And what you get is this weird conflict of interests and separations of powers. You have the First Amendment, which obviously applies not only to the president, but to everybody. And that's always a strong consideration in any gag order in any courtroom, you'd think. Like they claim it is. But in the same way they claim that contracts of adhesion are disfavored, yet if you've ever clicked I agree on anything on the internet, you know that contracts of adhesion apply to you and basically don't apply to the other company. There's nothing binding the other company to allow you to use their website or their software or that license that you paid for, but there's everything allowing them to stop you from doing it. So it's not really a great contract, and they're supposedly disfavored, yet they're upheld all the time as valid and enforceable, and the companies tend to win. That, in the same way, that's like how the First Amendment is respected in a trial court courtroom. They pay lip service to the representation that they care about free speech and the First Amendment and a lack of prior restraint, and then they stomp all over it with their gag orders. So you've got that. Then you've got the fact that Trump is the president of the United States, or was the president of the United States, is a presidential candidate. And this literally is not only personal, but it's deeply a part of his political speech. I mean, like it or not, these cases brought by the state have become a part of his campaign. Trump didn't bring these cases to himself. Like, prosecutors brought them to him. Their purpose was to either legitimately prosecute him and lol on that one. Their other purpose, though, is to taint in some way his campaign for the presidency in 2024. They want to tickle his little taint skin or whatever. They want to make him look bad. They're hoping to snag a conviction or at least cast enough detrimental outlook on who Trump is and his character, which I didn't think they needed much work for. Like, people have made up their mind on Trump, generally speaking, in my opinion, but I don't know. But they're trying to make him not only, a firebrand, ultra right-wing populist president, they're also trying to make him look like a criminal, whether he is or not. That's the goal of it. Well, once you do that during an election cycle, you've made this speech quintessentially more important, because now restricting it is restricting his ability to promote himself politically. And why shouldn't someone have the ability to do that? And a restriction on that is an inherent boost to the opponent. So those have to be even more carefully considered. But then that's all weighed against the most important power in any trial court courtroom, and that is the power of the judge to manage the logistical function of their courtroom. They will say, we have to be able to hold court in a reasonable manner, and as long as X, Y, and Z are happening, we can't do it. And X, Y, and Z is whatever the judge doesn't want to deal with that day after his oatmeal got soggy while he was yelling at his stepchild. Like, they just don't give a fuck about your rights when it comes in conflict with their courtroom being just loud enough to muffle the sound of their jerking off under their robes. Once they have that down, they don't want it disrupted. You know why? Because they're old and you only got so much time to get that thing taken care of. Can't be bothered with something else. They can't have Trump going, you know what? That's a Democrat. It's an elected Democrat, a demon rat, if I might say so. And he's very biased against me. You can tell because of his Facebook posts. He still uses Facebook. Oh, how cute. He should try Truth. But he's using Facebook. He's making these posts. All of these posts, They just have pictures of me, majestic as they may be, but they've all got guns in my mouth and anus. And like, Trump calls something, obviously exaggerating, there's way more guns in the pictures, but Trump calls something like that out against a judge, or, you know, the judge's law clerk, or the court admin clerk, or, I don't know, the bailiff, or other people involved directly in the trial, or the state prosecutors, or the federal prosecutors. If he calls that out, that's considered intimidation and threats, even though they're intimidating and threatening through all of this shit. All of it. They're using and leveraging political power and government authority to try and keep this guy out of office. Literally, the point of all of this is that. That's why it's all culminating in 2024. Trials that were supposed to start based on facts in 2016, culminating in 2024, just magically happening now. It's very weird. But if he calls that out, or if he calls attention to it, if he says anything to defend himself, or call these other people biased or losers or whatever he wants to say, suddenly it's the most egregious thing in the world, because he's former President Donald Trump, who is highly popular with one particular side of the political spectrum. And that means that automatically all of the crazy right-wing racists will murder everybody, because that happens all the time. So therefore it will happen all the time. And Trump obviously is not getting fair trials. He's obviously facing biased judges. He's obviously being maliciously and vindictively prosecuted by political monsters that are district attorneys and U.S. assistant attorneys and attorneys general of states. All of these people have political motivations to prosecute a political opponent that has traditionally been stronger than them. They get to bring him into their court and say, "You're in my house now, bitch." And he's like, "It's a shack. It's ugly." They get to do that. And that is what, you know, they get to say, you're in my place. This is where I hold the power. And they like that a lot. And the judges, a lot of them, especially down in Fulton County. I mean, that judge worked on Fani Willis's campaign. It's amazing to see that shit and be like, "Oh no, this is fine. This is not an incestuous, nepotistic, relationship between these two government agents working against a private citizen." Because remember, Donald Trump was president. Now he's just a person. He's just a you and me with billions of dollars and cool hair or whatever. But that's all of his rights are just those rights, plus like these latent rights of the president because of the time that the alleged acts have occurred and the different set of laws that apply to a president who's sitting. Greg Abbott is always sitting. So what will it take to unball gag Trump? You have to overcome the massive, massive deference to the trial court judge's authority on running his courtroom in a manageable way. That's the ultimate answer. I rambled through that, but you have to get to why that matters and what the balance of those rights and interests are, and realize that the balance of rights falls in favor of a judge's preferences over a citizen's constitutional rights so often that it's embarrassing. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. All right, we got BOK Camo. It says, "Why do you think the Biden admin is funding ISIS to the tune of $30 million per week?" You know, that's a good question. I have no idea what that stat comes from or what it means or how it's derived. I'm not disbelieving it, but I don't know. What I do know is ISIS should go to Denny's so that they die from food poisoning. Shador, Nick, stop being a bad capitalist. Pre-record some sponsor slots and show them when you go check on your wife. We don't get dead air and you get the monies. It's not actually how sponsor slots work. Like, you have to get the sponsorship of pre-recorded slots to then do that. Like, the sponsors who sponsor my show tend to want literal live ad reads. That's a great idea, but they have to want that kind of sponsorship content. Serrano Guardia says, "The Crowder subathon was a fucking riot. So many Trump gay and Trump calling others gay jokes." Oh, is that what Crowder did? He was doing a subathon? those work? What was the sub-a-thon? Like, what made it an a-thon? Right? Like, there's a telethon and there's a telephone. Like, a telephone is just a thing, phone. And then a telethon is like where something happens to make it more important. Like, in this case, if you do, like, if I did a subathon, it's like, I'm having a subathon. That means I want money. Like, from as many people as possible, which is always true, but it's like extra true that time, and you tell them. So what did he do to make it a subathon? Thought it was from Mug Club. But yeah, but what 3,000 subs? That's cool. But like, what made people do that? That's 15 grand a month. That's 47 Mug Club. Had a promo for paid subs and Trump support. Like, okay. Made Mug Club $47 with 3,000 of those. Let me get some of that hot juice all over me. Crowder put on the GIMP outfit. I wear that every day. No, it's always interesting to me because I hear about these subathons, like the ones that they do on Twitch, especially where it's like every new sub, I'll do 5 more minutes of live stream. And then they just like leave and they go like jerk off for an hour. They go to bed. Like, that's not streaming. Like, that's like an Italian soccer player just flopping around on the ground. Like, what is it? But like, people are like, yes, this is so cool. And they'll want, and the stream goes for like days and days and days. And they're like, yeah, awesome. We're doing it. Like, what a good gimmick. That's great. But I never understand them. I can't come up with how they do that. Like, I'm not actually good at any of that shit. Subathon was for raising money for the 2024 election. Raising money. Like, did the election need money? You're a moron if you don't I guess, that the DAs in all these trials are not corrupt communist pigs. Yeah, that's what. I think you're talking to someone else because that's what I was saying. But yeah, I don't understand how to do the subathon things. Like, my favorite gimmick was when I dressed up as like an e-girl and just made fun of the audience for hours and they paid me to do it. Like, I thought that was fun, funny. Some people got like a little bit offended that I looked better in thigh-high socks than them or whatever. But God damn, I was hot. But like that was just a silly thing that I did to make fun of an e-girl. I wasn't actually trying to like do a like, it wasn't, you're trying. It was like, it's just goofy. Have a Denny's subathon. Oh God. What? Like, you have to stay at a Denny's longer and longer as the subs come in. Oh, ugh. Yuck. What cope? What's it? Did you dress up as Venti? No, I was it was what was that chick's name? Invader V. Like, cause she shit all over that guy for not having $5 to send her a chat. And I was like, oh God, it'd be so fucking awesome to be an e-girl because all you do is just shame like all the poor guys, and then you pretend to make the like you shame the poor guys and then you pretend to care about the ones who give you money. But like, you don't care about them either. Being a chick would be awesome that way. Let's see. Here we go. Black Camo watched a new episode of the Sean Ryan show. It just aired today. That's where I got it from. Cool. Who's Sean Ryan? Grifty says $47 memberships funding different election coverage tools, live correspondence, interactive maps, etc. Look, if you want to fund an election coverage tool, I'm your tool. Just fund me. I'll be the tool and I'll cover the election or whatever. I don't know what I'll cover it with. Powdered sugar? Like, I don't know. My election coverage is always so goofy because people are like, what about this deep issue in Ohio? I'm like, who fucking cares? Ohio's real? I didn't even know that. Like, when I drove through what they called Ohio, I just figured it was Kentucky North. And so I'm like, not great, but I like covering the election stuff because it's funny to me, but I don't get deep into the issues. And the last election, was it the midterms? I brought on Lost, who's like, he's like so into the election stuff. And he's he's like good at it. And he's sitting there like getting super heated, like excited. He's like, and this state's still in play and this one and this one. And I'm like, why are you into this? You're Canadian. I don't get it. Like, why do you care? How do you have time to care about this? Like, I just go and vote, and I'm in Minnesota. So I know that whatever vote I make is going to be for a Democrat, because even if it's not, they're going to make me do that anyway. Like, they'll just pretend I did. Century Bro with a huge super chat. Thank you. He says, Nick, you are looking amazing. Thank you for being awesome, man. Aw, thanks. That warms my cockles and my hackles. For that, we got to have a little whiskey toast for that one. Minnesota is lost. Minnesota is the only state who voted for Walter Mondale. Like, remember how bad that is. Like, every state went to Reagan. Well, except that one. Like, which one? South Canada. Who'd they vote for? Mondale. Oh, God, why? I guess he's from there. I don't know. No, it's communism is why. Communism. Bring Doug TenNapel on to discuss the Baldo. That would be a great show. I love Doug. Doug doesn't tend to do the late shows, but I'll invite him on for a daytime show. I'll talk about the Baldo with Doug. But Century Bro, thank you, man. Really appreciate that. All right, here we go. We've got Red Chief 000 says, I'm working late. You're working late. So here's $10. Oh, thank you. And I cannot find a bottle of Colonel Taylor small batch anywhere in East Texas. I've never had a bottle of Colonel Taylor small batch. I don't even know what that is, but I want to try it now. Shit. Wow. Richard O team. Oh, it's my favorite girl. You're amazing and so cool. I like how you go fuck your drugged up wife while you make your fans wait. Oh, buddy, you think I finished that fast? I only do that when I'm thinking of you. If I was that cool, like that I did that, that would be actually cool. Like, so I don't mean to be rude, but like, think of if you're at your job, right? And you're like, your partner comes in and you have sex with them, like while you're getting paid, that's like a victory. I wish God damn it. Thanks for giving me life goals, you ass. I feel like I haven't completed everything I should have. I'll get my PlayStation Platinum achievement soon. Deus Ex Machina Prime says Trump 2024 and 2028. Am I right, brother? Not because he'll lose, but because he'll win and he'll get reelected again, because we'll get rid of that pesky amendment. Deus Ex Machina Prime says we only simp on Nick. Thanks. I get jealous. Richard O Team says, Nick, you have no self-awareness. That's a tough one, because if I say, yeah, I do, then that confirms that I don't. But if I say, no, you're right, I don't have self-awareness, then I am actually self-aware. It's a paradox. That is why you think it's weird when people don't get your jokes. Oh, no, I don't think it's weird when people don't get my jokes. I think it's weird that people think I tell so few jokes, because I tell a shitload of them, just almost none of them are funny. You would suck off a dude and think it's weird we call you gay. I got to ponder that one for a minute. I'm glad you phrased that in the hypothetical, because one, you would say I'd think, so I know that's not true. You would suck off a dude and think it's weird we call you gay? Why would that be weird? Like, that one I don't get. Because like some people I've talked to have said stuff like, well, it's not gay if this, or there's one guy I was playing a game with. I think it was on Twitch too. I was playing Vermintide 2. And he was talking about how when he was he's not gay, but when he was in college, he would pick up dudes because it was easier. And I was like, what do you mean you'd pick up dudes because it was easier? He's like, well, yeah, you like go to the bar and like you go talk to some women and they're not really biting. So you go and you grab a dude and then you bend them over and have sex with them. I'm like, so you're gay though? He's like, well, no. And I'm like, I guess you're bi? He's like, no, I'm straight, but, and I was like, no, man, that's not how that goes. It's like convenience doesn't make you not gay. It's like, if you want to have sex with a guy, like you're just like, it's fine, I guess you're gay, but like, don't be like, well, no, it was just easier that way. It's easier to fuck a guy because you're gay. Like, that's why it was easier. It's not easier for most men who they're like, oh God, I'm striking out with women. I'll just grab a gay dude. I'll just grab a little Twinkie or whatever and pound him out. No, it doesn't work that way. We have physiological reasons that doesn't happen. He's like, no, that's not, no, I'm not gay or bi or whatever. No, man, you want come on. It's 20. I think it was 2020 at the time. It's like, it's COVID. You can be gay. Just cough on people and give them AIDS. It's fine. It was weird that he thought that. I don't know why you'd say it's the other way. Total Gunt Victory has a YouTube video and says, is this gay? Yes, but I'm not going to play that video yet. We'll do that later. Okay. God damn it. A couple more chats. J-Rock, welcome to Paralegal Status. Why would you do this? Master Lions, 11 months at Paralegal. Thank you. Century Bro, welcome to Paralegal as well. Kate C, a.k.a. Snake Plush Kitten, says, Nick, of course, Ohio is a real state. If it wasn't, why did Michigan declare war on it in 1833? Have you never declared war on something that wasn't there? Probably not drunk enough. All right, here we go. Let's get into Greg Abbott. And the best part is he won't even feel it. Here we go. I got to make sure this isn't one of those subscription lock fucking bullshit articles. It's not. This is from The Hill, not Jonah Hill. Newsletter alert. No thanks. Caucasaurus says Afro Man Hunter got high. Again, I'll play that on Rumble. I don't want to play it on YouTube because it gets fucking weird. Pony Up says, what? Did he pick up Blair White? Still gay. Still gay to pick up Blair White. But no, he was talking about just random guys at the bar. I don't know if I guess they'd say they're not gay. And they're like, well, I guess I'll try anything. You're gay. Okay, here we go. Texas governor says state will ignore illegal Biden Title IX revisions. This woman looks pained. This woman looks... Oh, wow. Her eyes are weird. Okay, sorry. Real quick. Her eyes are looking slightly one's up and one's down. I don't know what that is. It's awkward. All right, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Monday his state, because Texas is his, will not abide by the Biden administration's sweeping new changes to Title IX, the federal civil rights law prohibiting sex-based discrimination at government-funded schools. And Title IX is so great. It's the government is literally state action preventing discrimination from state actors against the citizenry, I guess. But the prevention of discrimination and harassment ends up implicating the rights of the alleged harasser and discriminator. And the discriminator would be a good movie, I think, like the Terminator. But what he does is he just goes and makes choices based on external characteristics. That could actually be kind of funny. If you did it in the theme of a Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, where someone is cursed with their initial thoughts, their initial reactions to what they see, and they have to discriminate based on that. They don't ever get to override their ultimate, their initial impressions. So when black people walk up, they have to get scared automatically and run away and hide your wives and hide your kids. They just have to do that because that's their, they're a good liberal and they really like black people. So they adopt children that are black, like Angelina Jolie and Madonna or whatever. She adopted those. She didn't spit them out. But they do that, but then they'd be afraid of their own children. I think that could be a funny movie, but you can't make it. Maybe the Daily Wire will make it when they get done making all of their other good movies. That'd be fun. Ben Shapiro could be in it. Every time someone sees him, they could turn on their ovens. Tug Simp says, can you fat shame me, please? I need motivation. Tug Simp, I can't actually fat shame you because my words get absorbed before they get to your ears, you fat pile of garbage. You need motivation? You need motivation? Your weight needs less digits than motivation has letters. You're an embarrassment to humanity. I can't believe that your spaghetti covered fingers mashed a keyboard into a coherent sentence? How much autocorrect did your phone use to make this message? Like, what did you do? Or did you just dictate to the phone? Or did you dictate to the child that came out of you when you didn't know you were pregnant? Which one was it? Like, is it that one you're like, press mama phone while you shove chicken thighs down your gullet? You don't even have to like rip the meat off of the bones, do you? You just put the whole chicken bone piece into your mouth, swallow it down, like it roils around in your stomach for a while, and then like a cow later, it comes back up that other tube, and you pull a clean bone out, throw that into the grinder so you can drink that later as a protein shake. You need motivation to stop being fat? You should need motivation to live. Art the Clown says, I love poking fun and criticism, but I don't believe cruelty accomplishes anything other than to prove that you're cruel. Bad super chat. Wait, which one was the bad super chat? The Richard O team one? That wasn't cruel. Pony Up says, Oy vey goyim. Oy vey. Well, it's warm in here. It's going to get warmer. Okay. In a letter to President Biden, Abbott railed against the revised rules, which provide new protections for transgender students. Abbott's like trans-abled, so he's not really one to talk about this. I don't think he has authority. So saying they're illegal in the result of a ham-handed effort to impose a leftist belief onto Title IX, which Abbott said exceeds your authority as president. It's ham-fisted. Why did he say ham-handed? It's bothering me on like a deep socioeconomic level. Why did he say the phrase is ham-fisted? So when he says ham-handed, all I can think of is like, why when Abbott looks at Biden, does he think hand over fist? That's a weird one. That's a very weird one. Oh, Art, don't worry. That's Montegraph. That's Montegraph pretending, or like one of his child slaves or whatever, pretending it's not him. That's Richard O team is like Montegraph's biggest cocksucker, which that's like, it's one of those fish he bought at Walmart or whatever. So you don't have to worry about him being cruel. He keeps paying me. So Abbott says you've rewritten Title IX to force schools to treat boys as if they are girls and to accept every student's self-declared gender identity. Yeah, I mean, they did that. And I don't know why that you but see, this is, here we go. This is a weird one. People don't like that I say weird. Do you guys not say weird? That's weird. This is a weird one for some strange situations here. So Title IX is a federal rule that prevents government agents from alleged, like at a high level. Okay, this is the facial purpose of Title IX is to prevent a government institution from infringing on the civil rights of a citizen, right? Like that's the purpose. So you say, okay, well, you can't harass or discriminate on someone based on these characteristics. And you're like, cool, that's nice. Thank you, school, for not doing that. But that's not how Title IX works, right? Title IX in practice doesn't function that way. That would be an okay thing. Like if you go to the DMV and you're like, hey, to the DMV employees, you can't say no driver's license because they're trans. Don't worry. They won't be driving long anyway. So you can't say that, or you could say that to the DMV employees because the DMV employee should not be discriminating. They have one job. Like, do you pass the test? Do you meet the requirements? Did you follow the statute? Did you bring your insurance card and your money or whatever? And they stamp the thing and you get your driver's license. You're done. Simple answer. Pronouns don't matter. Names like gender identity, none of that shit matters, and the DMV shouldn't be concerned with it. And if you don't like that, don't work for the government. Title IX in a DMV setting would not be a big deal if we're talking about state employees versus the citizenry who are not other state employees. Where Title IX gets messy. Title IX gets messy because specifically in colleges where specifically people make bad choices like going to college and then subsequently, having sex with people who they don't want to have sex with in college. And then they complain about them under Title IX at some point, like after they don't like a tweet or whatever. And then they're able to initiate this process against a different citizen by the state, because the state's duty to have non-discrimination and non-harassment towards one citizen results in a non-trial tribunal against another citizen. And the problem is the subsequent citizen, the accused, stands under the Title IX process, which is not, in my opinion, due process under the Fifth Amendment, and is not substantive due process under the 14th. So that means that someone's rights are being refused. For example, you do not have your right to face your accusers in the same way as you would in a courtroom. You do not have a right to even defend yourselves or be represented by counsel in the Title IX proceedings sometimes. This is where things get wonky. It's not when the state is protecting the citizen from the state. It's when the state is assaulting another citizen through a state employee or another citizen. That's when Title IX becomes a problem. In concept, on its face, Title IX would be fine. Like, oh yeah, well, I really don't want like a judge discriminating against a trans person because they're trans. Now, if the transness is a critical issue of the court, you may have to have factual basis and an examination of the factual record for any claims. Like you might have to question if the person's actually trans, if they've undergone some surgery or some sort of hormone replacement. Sure, you might be able to do that. In other contexts, that would be a discriminatory request. In court, you're trying to establish a factual record of what happened, so you have to get to these things. That's how court kind of works. That's okay. None of that would be a problem. But in Title IX, though, right? Like you get Title IX and you don't get to go through these processes. And it's not the government versus the person. It is now, or the person protecting itself from the government through this, through these rights. It is now one citizen against another, leveraging some special rights and privileges that they have to subvert the due process rights of the accused. That can't be. And the crazy thing about it is these schools will expel these kids. They're adults, right? They're drinking. They're playing funny games and winning funny prizes and doing all sorts of cool stuff. Are beer pongs cool? I've never got that. One, I don't like beer. Two, sucking down a bunch of it at once doesn't make me happy. But I know they do stuff like that or whatever. But, they go out, they have parties, they make bad decisions. It's great. That's what college is for. It's not for going to class and trying. And so they do this, and now that can be the end of their life. Not because they take out a knife and make a Puerto Rican hooker have two vaginas or something. It's not that they do that. It's that they get drunk and have sex with another drunk person, and the other person wakes up and goes, oh my God, this one's white and I don't do that, or whatever it is, whatever regret that they have in the morning, or even a decade later, for example, or decade later would be a lot of time in college, but a couple years later, or maybe the next semester, or whatever it is, maybe when they get dumped or they get offended, anything could happen that brings these things in, and the standard of proof is low, and your protections and your ability to gather evidence are low. Now, if it's just you getting expelled from a state school, yeah, that's a fucking problem, by the way. You pay that state school a shitload of money. You have an equal right to go to the state-funded institution that anybody else does, so long as you meet the basic requirements. Being removed from a state program means that a right or privilege that is granted to everybody in a non-discriminatory fashion is not granted to you now in a discriminatory fashion. Now, the discrimination could be based on your actions that remove your access, sure. But if it's based on bullshit, then now you've been discriminated against. That's the opposite of okay. Private institutions don't have the same restraints. Private institutions don't have a duty to give everybody a fair shake, even when the state tries to make it that way. So Title IX becomes really problematic when we're talking about just the mere fact of expulsion, but we never are anymore, are we? We're talking about now the expulsion of a student under Title IX, whether they're guilty or not, under a court of law. And we've seen this, that in a court of law, they'll be exonerated. They'll win. They'll say there's not enough evidence. There's false allegations. There's whatever going on. The jury will decide the person did not put the pee-pee in the whatever of the other person. But under Title IX, they'll still be expelled. And the news story will still have their name and will still have their picture and will still contain the allegation that got them expelled. And everyone will just state and say that they lost when they won under every other avenue we would have taken. And when you do that, you've now taken a government that didn't have to convict anyone because the Title IX authorized state review board. I mean, it's still a government actor in purpose, right? State review board that then does the Title IX tribunal. They will make the determination. They'll remove the student, and then the media will gladly and gleefully, masturbatorially report it because it comports with their perspective of how the world should work, their perspective of what needs protecting. And what needs protecting is not the truth, but what needs protecting, according to the mass media, is the narrative about society, the narrative about sociological interactions and human anthropology. That is what needs protection. And since that is what needs protecting, the facts and the truth don't matter. One person's life, their inability to be employed for the rest of their life, their branding as a rapist or assaulter, or molester, or now discriminator or trans hater or homophobic mongrel. Any of those monikers are life destroyers now, but they're not made by the government. The state just says, look, we have enough evidence to say maybe you shouldn't be in school anymore. But Rolling Stone magazine's 38-page expose on the 20-year-old who got drunk at a party and, maybe put his fingers too far into another drunk girl. And it's wrong for the drunk guy to do it, but it's not wrong for the drunk girl who consented while drunk because she lacked capacity. But the guy with the same BAC didn't. That's how Title IX works. That's actually how allegations work, and it's weird that it does. That was one of my main criticisms of the Brock Turner case. It's like, they're like, well, she couldn't consent because she had a 0.23 BAC. And it's like, well, he had a 0.25 BAC. How could he consent to his own activities? Like, why is he culpable if she isn't? And it's important to note that there was no allegations of like drugging or like Rohypnol or GHB or anything being used to cause extra stuff. There's consensual drinking on both parties, but consensual drinking on both parties still implicates the accused, and the accuser's consensual drinking and impaired judgment is not considered. It's actually absolving them. This is the problem with all of these cases, and specifically with Title IX. You don't get to make these arguments before a jury. You get to make it before a tribunal board who decides that you are unpalatable to have at the college, whatever the truth is. You become that news story in Rolling Stone magazine, and the Duke lacrosse team becomes the laughing stock. Even though the allegations weren't true, Duke suffers. Well, if Duke's suffering, you've got to go, right? And that's how this shit works out. The problem is what it does is it disenfranchises and devalues the experiences of real victims. Because real victims exist out there in all sorts of capacities. Some of them come forward, some of them don't. There's reasons for both of that. The ones who don't come forward accept the consequences of not coming forward. The ones who do come forward accept the social stigma and ostracization they may face as people don't believe them. But when they win in court, they're vindicated and justice is given. When they lose in court, they're properly chastised for not having sufficient evidence to bring that to the court in the first place. But Title IX claims don't ever have to face that scrutiny. The accuser is given all the deference in the world, no matter the facts, no matter the truth, and no matter the impact it'll have on anyone else. And if those claims end up completely bogus, guess what? The accuser still usually wins, and the accused still usually loses. Because it isn't about some exchange of rights or property or anything from one to the other. It's about punishing the accused. And the accused gets punished by the process, with the result of the process, and by the people, the vultures, who feed off the blood of that process's results. And as long as that industry is such a circle jerk of fucking someone over for ultimately mass media profit and supporting the narrative, it'll continue forever. So here we go. Pony Up says, if Ben Shapiro were a Pokemon, would he say bagel bagel, 60 M6 Hamas's, or defend Israel? I don't know what 60 M6 Hamas is. Oh, what would he do if he were a Pokemon? He would still defend Israel. He would just do it. He'd just say, Ben Shapiro, Ben Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. He'd say it way faster than that. Rob Price says, Nick had to start a Give, Send, Go because of harassment. Oh, no, Nick, comma. I didn't start a Give, Send, Go because of harassment. I don't need help harassing people. Nick had to start a Give, Send, Go because of harassment. Can I get a plug on here? I can send you the link in a DM. It's already in your inbox. Yeah, send it to me on, I guess, Twitter, maybe. Get a plug, I guess. Alex says, I hate how my own side is all gung-ho for free speech until a protest about Israel appears on campus. Where are the principles? I talked about this on Friday. The Israel support mandate of the political right and left is super weird. Like, why we can't criticize Israel. Look, if I criticize Israel, it doesn't mean I don't like Jews. Like, you have to figure that out from other stuff. Like, criticizing Israel is like, this is a state that is acting in a way that I don't like, or there's a people that are acting in a way I don't like, or I do like. I don't know. Go figure those out. But yeah, the clamping down on protests and speech because of the content of the protest and speech. This is the thing Governor Abbott did. I think that I was criticizing. It was Thursday or Friday. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. I was criticizing him then. Standing up to Title IX is good. Cucking to Israel's speech requirements is not. And the ADL, by the way, the ADL can get fucked, but not on Saturdays. Because they shouldn't get fucked on the Sabbath. That'd be too much work. Richard O-Team says, fag, I could care less about Montegraph. Okay. It's more fun to troll you because you get hurt and it goes over your head. If it goes over my head, I can't get hurt. Why are you like this? How can you fail at making fun of me? It's so easy. If it went over your head, it's only because you were looking down, because if you look forward or up, it would always hit your nose. Oh my God, it's so fucking easy. You can make fun of me. Just say, I don't have to make fun of you. Just look at you. Wow. What's my response to that? Shit. I do every day, and it pains me probably as much as you. I understand. I sympathize with you. It's so goddamn easy, and you failed your own fucking joke. Wow, you get hurt, and it goes over your head. Why am I getting hurt if it goes over my head? Not short. I'm not hurt because, and if I was hurt and it went over, if I was short and it went over my head, I still wouldn't hurt because short people don't have feelings. God, it's so fucking simple, and you screwed it up. You screwed it up. Just like your parents screwed up your abortion, you pussy. Martin J.K. says, hey, Nick, watching for a couple of years, old man like your dad. Aw. But love watching. Keep up the good work, you crazy man. Hey, thanks. That's cool. My dad's hilarious. I got to see him the other day. And it's always a treasure. Okay, here we go. We're about to rumble flip in a minute. But for now, we're going to do an Epstein flip. You have rewritten Title IX to force schools to treat boys as if they're girls and accept every student's self-declared gender identity, which Title IX's... You cannot force people to accept a thing. Like, you can't thought control through a statute. It doesn't work. Abbott wrote in his letter arguing that step exceeds Biden's authority. Well, every step exceeds Abbott's ability. A growing number of Republican-led states have pledged to reject the Title IX rules finalized this month by the Education Department. Top education officials in Florida. What about the bottoms? What do they do? Louisiana, Wyoming, South Carolina, and Oklahoma have publicly rebuked the Biden administration's changes to Title IX, arguing the new policies roll back the rights of women and girls. So, roll back. That was a nod to Abbott, too. By expanding the landmark civil rights law's definition of sex discrimination to include gender identity. They're like, oh, women and girls don't have rights because men now get to pretend to be women and girls. Is it women and girls? Well, I guess Title IX applies to public schools. Rob Price says my last post in chat has the link. Does it really? I didn't think you could post links because I'm a fascist. Oh, it's already on your Twitter DMs. Okay. We'll see. Maybe we'll do it after the flip here. I am going to take a brief break. It's just not going to be a long break. Just, I still have to pee. Lady Rackets is just asleep. Abbott said in his letter, he will instruct his state government not to adhere to the new policies, citing concerns that they conflict with Texas state law. Okay. Quote, I'm instructing the Texas Education Agency. That sounds scary. The T. To ignore your illegal dictate. Abbott continued, your rewrite of Title IX not only exceeds your constitutional authority, it also tramples laws that I signed to protect the integrity of women's sports. I'm sorry. He said the integrity of women's sports. Abbott missed his calling as stand-up comedian. The integrity of women's sports? The only integrity of women's sports I want is the integrity of beach volleyball's wardrobe requirements. First of all, like, don't make the mistake of me saying that it's because they're women that there's no integrity in sports. In their sports. There's no integrity in sports in general. Like, that's long gone. It's all money and motivation driven. It's agendized. It is monetized. And it is beyond the purity of any sort of integrity we might have. Like, the integrity of NCAA sports is to give booster cougars a reason to fuck football players with their husband's cuck scent. And it's like, that was the whole thing. Like, do you think like the booster women donating Lincoln Navigators that are blacker than the guys they're fucking was like that had nothing to do with the reason they wanted no ability to pay black people for services again? They're like, we're going back 1860, here we come. Get on the field and go plow my like, that's what they're sitting there doing. And they're like, yeah, just make sure it's a used one this time, a used car. We know you're. And these booster people are disgusting and gross. But that was the whole point. It's like, the college is like, well, we can't pay them, but you hoes can. And they're like, my husband's just unconscious. I don't know why. Whatever. Maybe he was watching a Biden speech. Who knows? But this is all. And then now they're like, oh, no, they can monetize themselves. And they're like, oh, finally, these black athletes are going to get paid. Nope. Who's getting paid? Olivia Doon. How? Posting pictures of her ass doing the splits. She's like, she laughs in Millionaire. She laughs in Millionaire at like the best college quarterbacks out there. She's like, you got a Wheaties deal? Oh, you made 25 grand on your TikTok? That's cool. I made that by 8 a.m. How? I don't know. I posted a mirror selfie and said, looking so rough this morning, lol. But in the background was a mirror showing her ass. And she's these guys, these poor black guys who are sitting there getting just pimped out by colleges left and right, thought they were going to get paid. You weren't going to get paid? Oh my God. Colleges are populated by liberals. They don't want to pay black people. They just want simps to pay women. That's been their whole thing the entire time. The girls won, lads. That's why I would be a trans girl in college sports now. I'd be like, can I get one of those gymnastics uniforms? Can you help me hide the bulge? I don't want to get it chopped off. I just want to get on OnlyFans. Dear God, but I'm not flexible. Can we Photoshop me in a back bend? Oh my God. This shit. Texas will fight to protect those laws and deny your abuse of authority. Here we go. Hellhound says, Nick, how hard is it to tear off the year-old Band-Aid and just change the schedule? How hard is it to just change the schedule? Apparently, you're not a homeschooler of 5 children during a school year. How hard is it to change the schedule? It's fucking near impossible. Like this shit, you set it in August and it's supposed to last through June. Like that, you have to plan 9 months of this shit because that's how school years work, whether you're homeschooling or not. How hard is it to change the schedule? It's fucking impossible. It's not that easy to change a show schedule either, because you build your entire life around the schedule for children. One schedule is hard to change. Try 5 plus 2 adults. Dude, I wish it was that simple. It's not. There are also contracts involved. There's, all sorts of other considerations that exist. Spend time with your family. Sleep in the same bed for once. Oh, I always sleep in the same bed. That's weird. Just change it. You can't, my brother. You can't just change it. I don't know if you have a wife or several children, but I have 7 people that have a schedule that all has to work together. It has to. It can't not work. Changing schedules gets exponentially harder with each person you add in. If you could just go ahead and drop, like if I was single, you could just go ahead and drop in a change, no problem. Actually, if it was just me and Lady Rackets, fine. If we had 1 kid, not that hard. You get around 5 kids who are all doing multiple activities that have set schedules and timeframes, and that you meticulously organize and plan so that they can all make it to all of them. You can't just change it, brother. But the school year is about to end, and that's gonna change it right there. And our logistical issues that we have now, like they're not going to be the factor in the next school year. Like you have to plan it again with whatever your certain realities are. Like those things won't be the same. But until that happens, you can't just change it. So it's going to be sometime in May, things will really wrap up, and that's going to be great. Ellie Fan says, yay, wheelie. To Greg Abbott. Limperous Redux says, the wife left. He just has his Wildcats. Women can't drive. Where's she going to go? Sleep in the bed you made out in. That was in college. Who makes out? That's weird. My mom had 5 kids. We worked around her. Doesn't vacation season start for you after the school year? I wish. Not this year, though. No, again, like you guys, I don't mean to be shitty about this. And this, I'm going to end this topic really soon. We'll do the Rumble flip. But it's not like, it's like, oh, I'm going to do all the fun stuff, but none of the unfun stuff. No, like the fun stuff is gone too. Our ability to do all of the shit that we normally do, whether that's schedules or vacations or whatever, that got severely impacted. That's how life goes sometimes. And until you get to repair that shit, no, I haven't announced any live shows this year. By last year, I had done a live show, announced at least 1 more appearance at another live show, had another live show of a different friend coming, and was planning the 4th live show already by this year. Like that had happened. I would love to do that again. Going to Vegas, doing a live show, and then spending a week fucking around, having fun. Awesome. Do that every day if I could, but you can't. None of that shit's happened this year. Like everything got impacted. Except my bowels. But yeah, man. Sorry, if it was that easy, I just would. I just change everything. It'd be so simple. It sounds great. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. Life gets really, really fucking complicated the older and angrier you get. Just Joy says, stop explaining this shit. But people don't understand it. And I have a broken brain that needs people to understand things. All right, here we go. We're going to flip over to Rumble. and then we will continue on with the show after that. After a brief break, that will actually be brief. This is just a pee break. No extras. No fun. No silliness. No, apparently having sex with my wife while you guys wait around. Not going to happen tonight, I guess. So sad. I'll see you guys in 25 seconds over on Rumble. To the YouTube people, the link is in the pin chat. It's also in the description. Please check it out. Follow us over there like you would follow Taylor Swift down a dark alley. If you don't, or you do, please click like on the YouTube video. Really helps out. Also, click like, you Rumbleites. We'll see all of you in just a second. If you don't come with me, come later. Peace. Peace.